The winner of this series, whoever that might be, looking like Clippers now, will head to Phoenix. Actually, if it's Utah, they'll stay in Utah, but they will face off against Phoenix and a Suns team that'll most likely be without Chris Paul for the majority of that series.
Now, this confuses me.
It was an absolutely shocking announcement where Chris Paul is entering COVID protocols. Uh, so he'll be out indefinitely. I don't know what the rules are at this point, but it's got to be 10 to 14 days at least, right? I think it,
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
understand that. Like, surely he's been vaccinated at this point. Surely they can give him a test every day. And if I don't know if he has it, which is one thing, but if he doesn't and he's testing negative every day and he's been vaccinated, I'd think he should be good to play for the third round.
And so I think that's where I think he contracted it, which is shocking, but that is what the rumors seem to be. One NBA player out of 278 left or whatever tested positive last week. And it looks like it's Chris Paul, and it's shocking. It's a reminder that we're still not through the pandemic yet, and it's a
90% is 90%.
yeah, and it's a huge loss. Like unbelievable that at this point you're even taking that risk and jeopardizing the chances of your team by going to somewhere where you're it's not an event that requires vaccination or at least a negative test. Um, yeah, pretty shocking stuff. And I think Phoenix can hang in there, but Chris Paul is truly the leader of that team, right? You saw when he was even just gone for that quarter against the Lakers, where the offense just scuffles a little bit more because Chris Paul has everything on a string. He's the ultimate game manager. And especially in a Western Conference Finals, Phoenix is really going to miss that experience and game management. So um, it's hard to imagine that he's going to be out for an extended period of time, especially if the NBA basically just gave LeBron a free pass. It's kind of wild, but it it seems like that's what it's going to be. And Phoenix fans, I want to hear from you guys. Like this is unbelievable. It was looking up. You're probably the favorites before this news comes out, and now you're missing. I guess your best player. You would say Chris Paul is. Um, I would say so at this point, and everything just completely changes for your team. It's like an injury, right? Which has been the story of these playoffs. Almost every team experiencing a major injury of one kind or another. Uh, yeah, basically, if you run through the teams, everyone except kind of Atlanta has a major injury, and
Milwaukee.
oh, and Milwaukee as well. DiVincenzo, I don't know if that's major, but he's an important part of what they do. Um, oh, actually, no, Atlanta has DeAndre Hunter, so everyone's got a key injury and some are bigger than others. Of course, you look at Brooklyn, you look at Kawhi being out, and you look at I guess Conley is up there too. But for Phoenix now, they joined the club. They were the most healthy team. That's why they had the best shot. And now Chris Paul, essentially, it's an injury. He's out. Um, it levels the playing field somewhat, but it's got to be just excruciating if you're a Suns fan because it feels so close. And now the hold starts to slip a little bit on Larry Obi.
Yeah, you've still got Booker and Aiton, and they're both good to do very specific things. Aiton going to be Aiton versus Gobert would be a very interesting matchup. But if it's the Clippers, then Aiton should have a field day in the paint. And even against the Jazz, defensively, Aiton should be huge in the paint. But the offense is going to struggle there without Paul. And likewise for Booker as a flamethrower, or if he goes up against the Clippers, he'd really be hoping to get some playmaking and creativity from Paul. So one of those guys, either way, whoever they face, is going to struggle to do what they do best without Paul setting it up to help.
I definitely see the Booker situation as similar to the one we're seeing with Donovan Mitchell right now, where it's like a superstar out of this league. They can create their own shot. They're incredible. They can do a lot of primary ball handling, but it gets to a point where without a true point guard, like a Conley and like a Chris Paul to share some of the responsibility and weight of bringing the ball up the court every single time, it's just taxing on these guys. They're not used to being the number one ball handler. They're used to being the number one guy, but not the number one ball handler. And those are very different responsibilities, because it's a lot more taxing to have someone picking you up full court and having to expend that energy bringing the ball up, or having the doubles come at you a lot of times, whereas Donovan and Booker thrive more so than other superstars with off ball actions as well. So just something to think about. And yeah, I'm still flabbergasted, like almost 48 hours later. I cannot believe that this happened.
Yeah.